They used to be a part of something special. And now they sit on TV, a sellout, and no longer a rebel. And that's that.
What is that from?
I'll give you a guess.
A guess? Oh my god. What media have you been watching recently or that have stood out to you that would make me think that? Oh god, I have no idea. I don't know, Hitler.
Why? I wish I could say you were correct, but that's not good. Should I say it again or?
No, you could, man. What is it? Who is it? What is it?
Me. That's actually me.
Oh, okay. So I was right then.
Yes, Hitler. That is a very original quote from me. That is a piece. That is a part of a longer poem I've recently written. I'm like, it's 95% finished.
Oh, cool.
And I think it might be a late addition to the Happiest project. It might replace a whole track actually, which is a good thing because I want that track to be killed.
Oh yeah.
This is Silly Whales. This is a mental health podcast. We talk about things that are in the whole realm of mental health. It's a podcast for everybody, but it might not be for you, and we understand. Basic trigger warning is, everything to do with mental health and all that stuff. We also want to emphasize that I am not a professional editor, nor am I a professional anything. So, as more than one person have noticed now, it's not just you and Ryan. It's more than about 4 or 5 people have noticed that episode 12 and 13 are back to front. Yes, that is very much a thing that happened. Yes, it is entirely my fault. Yes, there's no no's to this either. It's just yes here. There's no hey, but actually what happened is, no, the whole system for categorizing episodes that we've recorded and filing them is very, very, very complicated because I make it complicated. There's a simple thing that I could do. I don't know what it is yet, okay?
Oh, right.
But I'm not doing it.
I'm glad that cleared everything up.
So, it's like when you see somebody eating. I'm pretty sure that if an actual podcast producer saw my method, they'll probably say something akin to, "You're eating soup with a fork." So it's here we are.
To be fair, it doesn't help that you have a lot more difficulty listening back through the whole thing because obviously they spend laborious amounts of time listening back and things like that. So it's more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
And also,
that's the thing.
I told you that I was like, I swear these are the wrong way around. But at the same time, I'm not doing shit around this. So I have no leg to stand on as far as actually criticizing you for anything. Just merely
whole point is,
my realization.
to you earlier. I should say the whole point is I'm supposed to send you the raw file the minute it's done, and then we go from there. But I don't even think that would have solved the problem because I still would have had to do for the whole editing process anyway. So it was great.
The funny thing is, when episode 12 came out and I listened to it, I was on holiday at the time. But when I listened to it, even though something felt slightly off, it didn't trigger in my head, this is the wrong episode. So when it came out, it felt like it could have been in the series. But there was just a part of me listening to it that was I thought that I said some stuff, I didn't introduce anything about me wanting to quit YouTube and all of that, but I mention it in a way and I'm okay. But it didn't strike me that it was possible. I just thought that somehow my brain had incorrectly remembered everything. So even if I would probably not have even realized and said anything. So it was only when actual episode 12 came out that I realized how bizarre it was because I was hold on, I do remember in the last episode talking about continuing something that I'm starting in this episode. I was okay, all right, something. I guess, literally the only thing you could do is that as soon as we stop recording, all of the files, raw files, you just send them to me immediately. And so then I can know what we've just recorded is. That's like the bare limit and simple thing that can be done.
Or
I
could just
guess.
label the episodes as a download them, label them what they are.
Yeah,
You know?
I did mention that before. But again, I'm not involved in the process, so I'm not going to say shit.
We have been away in the zeitgeist of the whole show in the Silly Whales universe. It doesn't look too obvious that we've been away. We haven't actually recorded properly for 3 weeks, which is the longest time in between episodes.
Oh, by far.
Joe's been on holiday. I've been slightly busy, but we had episodes like recorded. I have been really like slacking releasing episodes, so like we were always 2 weeks behind. I tried to catch up on that, and then I released like once. I meant to release twice. Then I released once, and then pretty much now we're back up to like current episodes. So you're listening to this, and you're listening to this as this comes out, whenever this comes out. Probably be next week, this next week Tuesday, which will be around the 21st. Then
it's currently the 17th.
Yeah. Then you're up to date. This is the like episode, the last episode recording this on a Friday. So it'll always be we record episode in the week, and that episode will then be released the week after. And then if we can't release an actual episode like this, we'll release a Silly Whales Presents and whatever. There'll be something. Anyway.
Yeah, the motivation is sort of that we, and I think you pushed it more, and then I kind of like the idea more as well, that we just generally want to have content out that people can respond to. Like if there is something, or if there's something in the news, or something that's just current, that when we put it out, it feels current to what's going on, rather than being, something that was free, or maybe at one point there was even a 4 week, like a month, like earlier episode. It was almost a month or something like that. And I remember you were talking about how you made a reference to the Kendrick and J. Cole whole thing.
Yeah, and how that's changed completely.
And it was like 2 weeks before or something like that. So yeah, by the point that the episode actually came out, it was completely and utterly like just it didn't make sense anymore. So there's that. There's also the fact that we do actually want to still like get things like messages and stuff from people when stuff comes out, if people want to. So there's kind of this decision generally that we should probably not be that far out, and that like a week after an episode has come out, we have the opportunity, or like within a few days, let's say after an episode comes out, we might have then the opportunity to respond or something like that. To that point, before you continue, because I know you do need to, I did want to point out something which I just completely forgot almost every episode, even though I kept reminding myself, but completely forgot to actually talk about it because I get lost when we do these things. That we got messages way back, if you remember. You sent me 2 messages. I don't know where they came from, but one of them was a voice note. I won't reference them like specifically, but they were both about work. One to do with like how we think about our own work, and another person giving their experience of how work was for them. And I just want to say how much I appreciate both of those messages and where the people that it came from. It was honestly quite incredible to listen to a voice note of someone or that I never knew talk about something that we had spoken about on the podcast, like giving their experience. I was just like, oh, that's really incredible. I was just never going to expect that. So, the whole. So I think we talked about how there was the episode we lost where someone sent an email in relation to the podcast and how much we appreciated it. And unfortunately we lost it, so you didn't get our reaction to it, but just how much we did appreciate that. So anything that you send is very welcome. Like we have a very specific feeling about it, both of us. Like obviously we're not even going to necessarily be the same, but we have very specific feelings about what we're doing. And it is a very striking thing when suddenly like a message comes out from the ether and just says like, and just starts like, engaging with it in a way that neither of us just think anyone would. So yeah, no, thanks a ton. Like some of them will definitely like speak more on, but it's so long ago now that I'm not going to speak too much on these messages, but I did want to say to both, I appreciate the sentiment from both. And I really enjoyed listening, and you brightened up my time at that point. completely
Yeah.
forgot to mention it, and I was feeling bad over the holidays completely because of it. So because I was like, oh shit, I still didn't do it the episode before the holiday when we weren't going to do it. And I was like, I'm never going to remember this. But because we knew we had to talk about catching up, I was like, okay, we're definitely going to talk about it. Definitely going to talk about it. So thank you very much. And back to you.
The main message I get is a rare one. It's just one of my friends. She's very like I was gonna say she's very Scandinavian, but that's just I was gonna say racist, not even racist. That's just very stereotypical. But her only message to me was last week. Your podcast ain't shit.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. And I was like, do you know what? I think that means a lot. I don't know if it actually does, but I think it means a lot. But yeah,
that does.
All right, weeks. Holiday. You.
I don't know what you were doing during that time, but I was in Tunisia. Yes.
I was Tunisia.
I really enjoyed it. I would do a holiday differently in the future, but but what's interesting to me is that it was almost a learning experience, even though I did enjoy it. It wasn't like I did not enjoy the holiday. It's more like having had that holiday and thinking what I would like to do in the future, I definitely would push more for away from what I did, from the whole plan in general, which was that it was like an inclusive, hotel holiday thing, which I totally understand why people do it. It's cheap as fuck, especially the ones we got because we, got them from EasyJet as like a super special discount kind of thing, because they do that from time to time. They just offer things that they don't think people are going to take, or they need to get more people to go to. And then obviously if there is enough showing, then they'll increase the price back afterwards. And it was incredible. I mean, a week in Tunisia on the African continent, never been there before, still Mediterranean, still so not like crazy different, but very much a different place. I went to a city with Arabic everywhere. I've never been somewhere like that before in that way. Like, it was incredible. It was French and Arabic was just plastered everywhere with English here and there. Just a brilliant experience and stuff. In future, I would definitely take, and I think even on that holiday, I absolutely could have gone for more of a travel around Tunisia kind of thing. The person I went with when he goes on holiday, he isn't a kind of go around places kind of person on holiday, which I totally understand. And a lot of the people that were there were very much the same. They were people who want to chill somewhere and read a book or read manga in my friend's case, or and kind of experience that sort of living, sitting outside by a pool kind of thing. It's not how I've been raised to think about holidays and feel. So I'm just a completely different person in that way. And even then, I was talking to my mum about it. My mum nowadays, it's I'm more about what Kez is sort of about, because, she's just happy with, at this point, with doing that sort of thing. But I'm my dad, I think, and very much me, are kind of more of that outdoor, let's go do this or do that kind of person in a way. And just because of the experience I did have when we went out and we went to Monastir, which was the city not far away, was just so much fun. It just was for everything. The fact that we got the train and used that, which was actually surprisingly easy and incredibly cheap. I'll talk about expenses in Tunisia a little bit later. But holy shit, was it just fun to do that? And if I realized earlier in the week how easy it could have been, and I'd put a little bit more effort into finding that stuff out, I definitely would have gone to Tunis, to maybe El Jem if I could have, to Sousse and other places like that. Just these other, big cities in Tunisia, or ancient cities in Tunisia and things like that. These Roman ruins. There's a lot of really old stuff in Tunisia, because it's a really, from the Carthaginians to kind of the sort of Muslim medieval period and the Roman period and all of that sort of stuff. It's incredible. The actual experience of the hotel, it was an amazing hotel. You can look it up. It's the Royal Thalassa Monastery, I think is what it's called. So you can look at it. It's got an incredible pool. I've never been to anywhere with a pool as huge as that, and the shape of it and everything is bizarre, but it's amazing. We had it's inclusive, so we have fucking meals every meal every day. Just there, you go. There's a buffet style thing for every meal, and literally in the evening, if you wanted to, you could have drunk every single evening as much as you wanted. There's no limit. You go there and then that's it. No, actually. Like we genuinely didn't. I think we probably like we like drinking. We might have done probably like maybe 5 out of the 7 days, but only like 3 of them was it like anywhere close to what you'd consider a lot. And even then, I think one of those days was like a decent amount, but not a lot. You know, like the first day we got there where we were fucking tired as shit because we had, woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning, got to the airport, was on the plane out of Birmingham Airport at 6:20 or whatever, all the way to Tunisia. Finally, I think by the time we got to the hotel, it was like 2 o'clock, maybe, or something like that. Maybe a little bit earlier, but it was very much around that time. In fact, it could have even been later. I'm honestly struggling to remember. But there was delays at Birmingham Airport, and by the time we got there, it was just the coach was longer than we initially thought. So when we thought we might get there at like 12, we actually got there like 2 hours later. Anyway, but I was fucking just out. Like I was so like out of it the entire day. And then the way that we decided to deal with that was have a load of drinks. Because genuinely I didn't have a way of like I was too tired and yet too awake to do anything in that like at that kind of time of night. Something which is interesting about Tunisia actually, because of its distance from the equator, the days are much shorter than it is here right now. So right now, like it's still light at like 9 o'clock where I am anyway. And in Tunisia, it's like, okay, it's like 7:30 and then it's dark, like dark. And it started to get dark at like, or maybe even earlier than that. But like within a matter of like half an hour to 20 minutes, it goes from whatever it is to dark. And it's just, and it was crazy coming back because I would literally look out the window at like 7:30 and be like, holy fuck, what time is it? And I just had no concept of what time was anymore when I came back. It was a real weird, like jarring experience. So yeah, didn't get completely pissed out of our minds or anything like that. Probably had like a little drink on like a few days and stuff like that, but had a good time regardless. And there's sort of a tipping culture involved, which I don't like tipping as a general rule because people should be paid properly. But obviously, in the context of this, I'm a rich European compared to the people working in this hotel. Like, let me explain dinar to you for a second. Dinar is a closed currency that exists in Tunisia. It doesn't exist outside of it. When you're leaving Tunisia, they ask you for money and they will check you if they're suspicious that you have any dinar on. You're not allowed to take it outside of the country whatsoever. You have to change any currency you have in the country and give anything back that you haven't used up before you leave. So it's very, very controlled. They've also have very secure airports, more secure than ours. Like it's hilarious. They're very, very, very conscious about it. And the exchange rate at the time was what 3.83 or 4 dinar per pound. So would you like to guess how much Aziz, who was someone that we made friends with at the hotel who was working there, guess how much he gets paid per day?
Am I doing it in pound?
Do it in dinar. Just it's basically like 4. You could do it in pounds or dinar. It doesn't matter. I'll just translate it, so it's fine.
Like I don't know, because I feel like it's ridiculously low, but I also don't want to go too low. Because like, well, the idea of me just like shitting on Tunisia and be like everyone's broke and sad, so I don't really want to like be. I don't know.
I mean, by that notion now, we're stuck in a bind because whatever you say.
I want to say per day, like he gets, I don't know, £6 a day.
That is spot on. He gets about 20 to 21 dinar a day, which is about £6. It's a little bit less than £6 actually, technically. Like it's not a lot. And when we initially went there, so what happened was I paid for the holiday and Kez was paying me back his half back in installments to me. And he said for the last installment, I'll sort out all the money exchange when we get there. So the last installment I'll use that money and we'll use that as the tipping money for our entire stay there. And if we buy anything and things like that, stuff that we'll both use and everything like that. And I was like, totally, that's fine. That makes sense to me. I don't mind spending. I don't mind some of that money essentially helping him. That's fine. And the kind of money we're talking about for tipping is somewhere in the range between 5 to 20 dinar in terms of tipping, really. Because the amount of money I'm spending when I tip 5 dinar is £1 something. So I'm at a place where I'm being given free alcohol all night, and I can go to someone and you don't tip every time, by the way. That's not how it works. It's just a case of like, you do it if you either want something special or if you just want to show your generosity, basically. Like if you want to say like, oh, thank you, you've been very good to us, blah, blah, blah. So not show your generosity, like, say, oh, you're doing good in the way that you would imagine tipping should work, right? Not just like a forced tip. No one forces you to tip or anything. Holy shit, does it make a difference, as you can imagine, when you start tipping people 10 dinar or 20 dinar, as we sometimes did, because they suddenly treat you with the most amount of respect and benefits that you can possibly imagine at every turn.
Gee.
Like, because you've essentially doubled their wages in a day when you tip them 20 dinar, right? Again, about £6. So if I give £6 to this individual, suddenly that guy in the lunch area that we eat in, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner area, will reserve us a seat every time by getting drinks and putting them at the table before we even arrived, to make sure that we have that table because that's the table we were sitting at previously that we liked. And I'm not joking, that happened without us asking. He just did that from when we because we tipped 10 dinar to him like after eating, and we didn't even ask. It was so incredible how different it all became. And it's not that they were being like bad like staff or anything like that. It's just they immediately were like, well, I'm going to hang out with these people and I'm going to make sure that they're having a good time, as you would expect, because it's such a huge thing.
Yeah.
And of course, they're essentially relying upon tips. They're being paid 20 dinar a day. Obviously, things are cheaper. Like, you go into a shop and you buy a bottle of water, 2-litre bottle of water for 1 dinar. Oh no, what was it actually? Was it 1 dinar? It was something like we bought a bottle of water and we thought it was going to be really expensive. But dinar is actually in thousands rather than hundreds. We have 100p to a pound. They have 1,000 dinar to 1,000 dinar cents worth. I've forgotten the name of it. I did remember at the time, but they have a name for that cent and it for 1 dinar. So things are written like 0550 to mean like 0.55 dinar, basically, and things like that. And so we got like a 2-litre bottle of water for what was the equivalent of like 16p or 15p or something like that in a shop. And it was like, oh, okay. So like things are very different, obviously, but obviously people are very much in poverty largely, which is a very odd feeling being there with money that I obviously like. Obviously in the UK it's very different, but it is really odd being in a position of wealth around people. For me, at least, I've never been. Right now, I'm not a man of wealth at all. Yet I have the money to buy a house in Tunisia right now. Like if I wanted to, I absolutely could. I would have more than enough, which is insane. I'm not saying it would be a great house or anything like that, but I literally could. We were talking about how if you worked for a company in Europe, but you could, but it was like a at-home thing or whatever, you could easily make stupid amounts of money in Tunisia and never have any issues. If you were earning like even 20 grand a year, you're looking at like 80,000 dinar or something like that, which is nuts as an amount of money being earned by someone just living kind of, normally. So a crazy experience overall. And there was a lot of conflict, I guess you could say, with this holiday in terms of how I felt personally with my money. Because, by the way, I should explain, we took out 500 dinar at the beginning. This was the third installment, 130 quid off or whatever. That's how much we got, 500 dinar. So I'm not joking when I say we literally struggled to spend money the holiday. And all we did was spend 130 quid. On most holidays, you could spunk that in a few days, and we were struggling to spend it. We had to just buy stuff like randomly near the end of the holiday because we realized we had all this money left and we didn't know what to do with it. So it's a very strange situation because obviously euros are not that distinct, and that's where I've been to, like from pounds, I mean. So to me, it doesn't feel too different, and the pricing in Europe isn't particularly different, I would say. Although you told me that like wine in France is incredibly cheap, for example, by comparison, and
Yeah,
things like
I
that.
guess for me that's because they make it. So
Oh, for sure. It has a whole different culture as well and everything like that. Like it makes sense. We have to import it and stuff like that, I guess. But was it just it was there was such a crazy feeling the entire time, which I couldn't shake just about that whole experience. And what the tipping part I was initially super conservative on. I didn't know how much we'd be spending. I didn't know what we'd have to spend on and all that. And then like after like a day of doing it, obviously Kessis has already been there, so you already kind of knew about it a bit. I was like, oh, okay, I know when to tip, and I know how much to tip or whatever, and how much it means. Like literally, we were getting drinks. We've got these plastic cups or whatever, like hard plastic cups that we were drinking out of and stuff. And then I asked like, oh, can I have? I think we were getting drinks for the room or something. And I said like, not for them to take it to the room, but we would take it. And I was like, oh, can I get 2 rum and cokes and 3 beers, please, or something like that? And I tipped like 20 dinar or something. And when he came back, he had these lovely beer glasses and lovely like rum and coke glasses with chopped lemon in and ice that they don't normally put in, like the ice they do with the lemon they don't, and things like that. And it was a strong rum and coke as well. Like there was the strongest rum and coke I had in the entire trip.
get you drunk.
They just it's just I understand probably some people don't even tip as well. Like not everyone is going to. It's more like you get used to the idea and know about it. But holy shit, it was just an odd experience. I couldn't really get it out of my head. But yeah, it was a fun trip regardless. Like we went out, it was lovely. The pool was amazing. I've never been in a pool like that before. Food was actually pretty decent. A little bit limited for me, obviously being vegan and all that. It's a bit limited, but they still had a bunch of stuff I could eat, and I was eating black olives every single day, like wonderful black olives and green olives and so on. And yeah, it was a great time. And it was hot. Like it was hot. The way that the weather was when we came back from the holiday in England was what it felt like the entire time we were there, pretty much. So we just had like this much more longer extended like heat wave or something equivalent to that England had just over the course of 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. We just got an extra week of it, and of course it was sunnier and stuff. I really want to go back to Tunisia to see some things that I know are there. I don't know if I will ever do an inclusive holiday again, beyond the fact that it was just very cheap. Like, I mean, I spent 378 quid to go to Tunisia for a whole week, including the airplane, all the alcohol, the food, everything. Like that's just something you can't say anything about that isn't just like, okay, that's obviously quite good. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pass over to you because I'm noticing the time and stuff, and also I've talked so long about this,
It's
and
fun.
I'd said almost nothing substantial, to be perfectly honest.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool.
So it's like, was it last week or I think my birthday was now 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm old. I'm 27.
It was 9 days ago, wasn't it?
Oh damn. Okay. Jesus. I
No,
feel like it
sorry,
was
not 9 days ago. Are you the 6th?
7.
7th, sorry, yeah, 7th. So
Everybody
10 days ago.
forgets. I say everybody forgets while I always forget everybody else's birthday.
It doesn't help that you and Demi's birthday is almost exactly the same, but I forget by how much they're different.
Yeah. So I don't really do anything. I've always had this whole thing where my birthday's always shit. Last year, I spent my birthday in Germany with my now ex. That was a good birthday. I was like, oh damn it, and I was worried that we are gonna go back to form having really bad birthdays. Like, oh great. And my birthday month between April and like early June, I don't exist as a human being. I'm on survival mode. Okay, I hate those months. I'm at my absolute lowest. It's the worst. Like if you were to say seasonal depression, everyone goes, "Oh, the winter." No, like spring, summertime, I want to kill everybody and myself. Okay, like when everybody's happy, I want to light the match and just blow everything up. Okay, that's how I feel. No, actually, like the day before, I saw me and shout out to Ryan, we saw a band called In Me, and I hope he doesn't mind too much about what I say here, but I've heard him speak about In Me for about the better part of 2.5 years, like moments of conversation. And I heard about the band originally like 4 or 5 years ago because a friend of mine who I used to do like poetry and all that stuff with ages ago had one of their songs on the playlist, and very random. I heard of that band, but they weren't that big. I didn't really pay much attention. And when Ryan was talking about them for the past 2.5 years, I was like, I know they're his favorite band, but he does go on about them, so they must be good. Because Ryan's the type of guy where you send him a song that you like, and he'll go, "That song's great by this band, but this song further down the album, which no one ever talks about, is better and hits the same spot." You're like, "Oh shit," because Ryan knows his music.
You trust it,
Okay, yeah, of course. Like he is the mosh pit daddy for a reason. Okay, and I decided, cool, I'll see In Me. We'll go back to the Crawford Arms, a place where I actually used to wrestle quite a lot. And it was like a weird anxiety attack building when I went, because I was like, I've done this train journey so many times. And yeah, got there. It was great. Honestly, it was incredible. Now, before I get into In Me, I'm going to talk to you about Lastel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Okay.
Both bands are, I guess you'll call them, like, I don't know if you call them metal or you call them heavy rock or whatever. Ryan's going to DM me on WhatsApp and be like, this is what you call them. But they're both rock bands in general, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Lastel opened it all up, and the energy is incredible because not everyone's in the building yet. They're the opening act, so everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the pub around the corner first. We'll wait for In Me to come out." So there wasn't as many people as there should be. They all missed out. I will tell you something crazy right here, right now. I'm sure it's been done before, but this is my naive mind here. Okay, their main singer is also their drummer.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's difficult. That's
And
really difficult.
I don't know how he does it. Beautiful voice. And their other singer, who's like just a vocalist, does like all like the screaming and all that stuff and all like the additional vocal, which is wild because he brings so much energy to the stage while singing and doing the screamer parts himself. And then the drummer is also drumming and like doing all the other vocal. The band is incredible. But to make matters even better, one of them motherfuckers on guitar is playing the guitar. And then he puts the guitar down and pulls out a fucking trumpet.
Oh, right.
They have a trumpet, and they use the trumpet, and it all works.
Oh, was that the video you sent me? The guy that was playing the trumpet?
Yeah, exactly. That was the video I sent you. I was like,
yeah. Okay.
Motherfuckers pulling out trumpets, okay? It all works. And the thing is, it's not like it shouldn't work. No, it should work, and it does work. And it's like, holy Jesus Christ, they are good. If you want a band to listen to, Lastel. Now the main event, In Me. I've never been at the front of a rock show before. I've also never really been to many rock shows in general. Like, we were at Rainbow Kitten Surprise, I've seen Jimmy Eat World, and I went to a random, like, EDM festival in Gainsbury Park ages ago. I'm sure I've seen another band somewhere, but, you know, that, being front row at a rock show, never thought I would actually be the person who would like it. Oh my god, do I love it. In Me come out, and I can see straight away, oh, this is why Ryan likes his band. One, they're very personable people. Okay. Mm-hmm. Two, they're just like, I guess Ryan's been following for nearly 2 decades. So it's like, for him, there's a lot of sentimental value to it, which is why his opinion is his opinion, but my opinion is completely fresh. And I'll say even better, because he has the value to it. Like, for example, if you tell me, like, if I show a brand new person Rainbow Kitten Surprise and they go, oh, it's okay, I want to kill them. It's not okay. This is fucking incredible. How dare you just call it okay? So here I am, new to this band. I know 1 or 2 songs because I listened to them on the train up, and they start playing. I don't know how, but it captivates you in a way like I've never actually like seen before. Like, and as to quote Ryan, that's what live music does. Mm-hmm. But I think In Me hit the nail on the head in their live performances, or it just in that performance in general. Because 1, the vocals are like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. 2, they are like quite funny in between songs as well. And 3, like, they're just good. Like, and that's what makes it now. And that's what makes it like crazy. They're just really, really good. And they've been around for, like, they're veterans of the game at this point. And it's like, wow, how have I gone my whole life without listening to this band? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, you've said enough. give us some songs to listen. I personally, my favorite song by them is Underdose. Great song to listen to. But then, like, I'll say on their Spotify top ranked song is Faster. Is it Faster the Chase? Let's have a quick look on Spotify. But regardless, that's also an incredible song as well. I urge you to just put on a few songs by both Lastel and In. That it's just something special. Yeah, Faster the Chase is like the most popular song on Spotify for In Me. For Lastel, listen to Life in Silhouettes. That will send you somewhere. Okay, both songs have been on repeat for the last week and a bit. The show is great. They're great. Both bands are great. Met members of like both the bands afterward. And also, I'll speak to this now. Like, as someone who is a big fan of like partnerships and community and the idea of like listening to the people who made you get to where you are, seeing the band like recognize Ryan and be like, "Hey, good to see you, buddy," and like very like friendly with him, reminding me of how like I wanted to be when I was wrestling to begin with. And I was like, Jesus, like this is a very real thing. And it's like, it's just, I don't know, like words are losing me, but it's just good, It's all just really, really good. And both bands are just really, really good. And you're just thinking to yourself, well, these guys have to be bigger, right? And you realize In Me have jobs outside of this, like, they work in different sectors and all that stuff. Lastel, I think Lastel are more like younger, so they probably are very committed to it on a full-time grind. Like, it's just, I think that's also a beautiful thing as well. Like, hey, you're touring and you bring a really good band with you as well, and like everyone benefits. And it's just, I bought both of their shirts,
Yeah.
And with the In Me purchase, I got a free vinyl as well, a free CD.
Oh,
and
shit.
Mosh Pit Daddy Ryan, MPD, got me the guitarist's pick, which is like, oh, great. And I got the set list as well. Like, I'm just like a happy little child right now, okay? 27 years old child. But yeah, that was the birthday. Back in the gym, back like doing Muay Thai and all that stuff. Things are going okay. I'm surprisingly getting the hang of things in both areas now. Kendrick Lamar and Drake happen.
Yes,
now,
please.
Now, for a quick summary, if you're not into rap music at all, Kendrick Lamar is one of like, I'll say he's a generational rapper, and Drake is a generational pop star, who calls himself a rapper. Now you can tell I'm already biased towards one side here. Drake decides he's gonna have because him and Drake have been going back. Drake decides he's gonna bite off a bit more than he can chew. Kendrick decides, oh, I guess it's my time to just kill this nigga. They go back and forth on a few songs, and Kendrick has thoroughly destroyed Drake on every single level possible. Like, he hits him with a song called, like, as I say this, you have all these, this is a musical episode, okay? So you have Lastel, you have In Me, and now you need to listen to, if you haven't already, Euphoria. I don't even understand how, but a diss track is one of the best songs I've heard all week. Ridiculous. Then, listen to all the Kendrick, but the ones I'll listen to. Okay, if you want to hear somebody hating on a professional level, okay, Euphoria, Meet the Grahams, and Not Like Us. Those are the three you need to listen to. Not Like Us, especially, is for me, I don't know how, but between the concert I went to and the release of those diss tracks, those have all reinvigorated me in a way, which I think has probably all collectively kept me alive. I think In Me and Lastel gave me a lot of hope, and then seeing how Kendrick can hate another human being with so much passion and turn it into something somewhat positive for the culture has brought me out of a depressive state,
Wow.
So, here we are. Who would have thought hatred has fueled my will to live?
Yeah, now now the thing I said at the beginning of the episode is suddenly having a different tone. Just how hate can bring people together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it brings up loads of culture discussions on Drake as well. And my skin color, because, like, I'm very black. Very obvious I'm black. However, my skin color isn't as black as people would like it to be. Colorism exists. So because of Drake's skin color and Kendrick's skin color, people love to say Drake isn't actually black. Yeah. That's not the issue with Drake. The issue with Drake is more, he is not the person who he raps like he is a Canadian guy. came from, a family. And he was an actor. He was in a show called Degrassi. He has done things. He's not a guy who grew up leading a gang or in a gang or committing felonies. He's not that guy, but he raps like he and doesn't ever. He appropriates other cultures. For example, he did a song with a UK rapper. He started rapping like the UK rapper. He did a song with a guy from Compton. Oh, look at that! He's rapping like guys. He will take people's like cultural traits, make them his own, with no credit actually shown to those people. Very much like Elvis Presley. At his core, though, he's a really good pop star. But I wouldn't say I'm calling him a rapper. People have then gone about and said, "Hey, this is what mixed people do," because Drake is I think I'm correct by saying this, is of mixed race, and we have to look out for the light skinned people. Guess what they do? So all of a sudden, when these debates happen, I start to turn to me, and people start saying, "Hey, look at that! You're not actually black." So that is an argument that's going to come to me eventually. It was already hinted at the gym the other day, but
what in relation to all this?
Oh yeah, because we're talking about like the Kendrick stuff, and I made the point that Drake's diss track back for Family Matters is one of Drake's like best like rap songs, and then someone's like, "Oh, of course the other light skinned guy will say that," and I was like, "I don't think you understand. Like the whole thing is that Family Matters is a great song by Drake, but it was completely demolished by Kendrick seconds after. Like I can praise somebody while also acknowledging that they still got their ass beat, but
yeah,
people need absolutions, so you have to be 100% on one side. Can't give anything away to the other side because that's not it's not a dominant enough mind view. People want things to be very clear cut. You don't like this person, you do like this person. At the end of the day, we're seeing two great artists in their own right make incredible music. In reality, the only person who's losing, bar Drake, is the people who don't like rap at all and hate on it from a distance. Who's winning is everybody. We all get good music, and we all get me. But yeah, that is where I am. Tomorrow, because this is being recorded on Friday. So on the 18th, I have a football tournament. We're doing the whole World Cup thing. I get to play at my old secondary school, which will be great. I think I mentioned a few episodes going back there. We are representing Portugal. I've assembled a team of good people, and by me, I mean Michael has done most of it. I'm the team captain, I'm team manager, but we've assembled a good squad, okay? We're representing Portugal. None of us are Portuguese, but here we are. I want to win. I am a serial second place, third place person. I really want to have a good showing in this tournament, which means I want to actually either win it or reach the final and look good reaching the final. But I just want to get this out into the East, okay? I want, by the end of this year, for me to have some W's next to my name on a team basis and on an individual basis. So be that in the Muay Thai ring, be it collecting a trophy for football, I want to start winning, That's the mentality I want to have. I don't want to be content with second, which is a big mindset shift, as for the majority of my life, I have been like, if I come fourth, I'm happy with that. So it's a big shift from wanting to be happy to be like a third choice goalkeeper to finishing fourth in certain tournaments to now wanting to all of a sudden come first and win everything. That is a big mindset shift. And I don't know how I'm going to take to that mental. So yeah.
I was gonna say, obviously, this is not. This statement is funny given the comments, obviously, about skin color. But I like the color of this on you. Like, I genuinely okay. I'll put it this way. I don't think it'll get to your head in a way that I would consider somewhat like an unlikable trait. I think that the way that you describe this in relation to your kind of passion somewhat being rekindled in certain ways and your hope being rekindled, I think that in those moments when you start to feel those ways, you should chase those. And so I'm glad that you are and you're feeling that way. So yeah, I'm fucking great. Like good. I'm really I was gonna say I'm hoping for you to win or anything like that, but it's more like I just because I have a weird thing about being superstitious like that or saying superstitious things in terms of luck and stuff. You're gonna fucking kill it, like, and regardless, you're gonna kill it in your effort. So it doesn't really matter. Like, you're gonna do amazing. You're gonna do amazing.
That is that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else, sure?
I was gonna say I'm gonna be crucified by my friend if I don't mention a story, but I realize time is running out. There is one story I was meant to tell. It's gonna be. I think it might be too long. So I'm got a note that maybe I should tell it on next week's episode.
Cool. Yeah.
But I will say it was a very funny thing that happened on holiday, and I should mention it, so I'm going to. But this is just my note to myself in my head right now for the future, so that when I listen to this episode and then we record, I will remember to say it. I'm making it clear to myself that this is going to happen. I'm just going to say to myself right now, Polish. Okay, now we can continue.
Yeah, that sounds great. Cool.
Cliffhanger.
On that note, we're going to take 2 steps to the rear and get out of here. We're in the wind. See ya.
Bless you.